Hibak, one thing about figures and one thing about doing things,
right,
you actually do the thing.
Right.
When we talk about a road is being constructed, the road gets constructed.
Right.
When we talk about 18.7 billion Kenya shillings has been allocated, that is precisely it.
Okay.
So I think here is when we say the ground matches.
Are you sure, Mheshimiwa?
The reality.
Right.
Yes.
All right.
So going to the other areas that the Kenyan people have talked about here is emergency preparedness. And I'm sure the Kenyan was referring to what, as Kenya, we have experienced in the recent past. We had a El Nino and we had rains that were higher than normal.
Yes.
And most of the Kenyans from across regions were affected.
Right.
We have allocated money on two areas. One, Hibak, as you know, we were running supplementary budget alongside the budget we are discussing. We passed in enough resources in the supplementary budget, mostly at Article 223.
Right.
This money had already been spent, and we were just regularizing as provided for in the law. Secondly, we have also allocated enough resources just in preparedness for any emergency that could happen. As you know, the vagaries of weather alternate.
Yes.
When you don't have excessive rains, along the way, then you get more prolonged periods of famine.
Right.
And therefore, we need to get prepared. But the critical thing that I have to highlight, like Maai Mahiu, we recently had a very tragic experience there.
Of course, yes.
I went there and I saw. And we were discussing with our leaders, the president and the deputy president the other day, and the president was very categorical that we have to allocate money to buy land.
Right.
For the Kenyans who were affected by landslides.
Right.
Maai Mahiu, there were landslides in, there were floods in Tana River, there were floods in Muranga, there were also excessive rains in Baringo. We have allocated resources so that we can have these Kenyans moved to better, safer areas, but to the proximity of where they had established their social life.
Right.
So if it's Maai Mahiu, the government is already seeking for land to buy around Maai Mahiu so that we are able to relocate the families who were affected and could not otherwise go back to the land which was severely damaged.
Right.
The other area is on roads. Roads were damaged, and we are allocating 199 billion Kenya shillings into roads. But in roads, we have three areas. One, there is an area we call, I can call it recurrent.
Right.
Because it deals more with servicing the roads. That money comes from fuel levy.
Right.
And that money is approximately 72 billion shillings.
Right.
Then there is money from development partners and from GOK, which then shares almost equally the other remaining balance. Some of these monies will be going into rehabilitating the roads which were damaged by the heavy rains.
Right.
But also the bigger proportion will be going into completing the stored roads, including the famous Maai Mahiu roads.
Right.
We have